Welcome to Plant-Based on Fire, the podcast that ignites your passion for plant-based businesses. Real Men Eat Plants is proud to host this show, where we shine a spotlight on the latest and greatest plant-based companies making waves in the industry. From startups to established brands, we'll explore what sets these businesses apart, what challenges they've faced, and what their vision for a more sustainable and ethical food future looks like. So if you're hungry for some fresh insights, inspiring stories, and a healthy dose of entrepreneurial spirit, then join us on Plant-Based on Fire, brought to you by Real Men Eat Plants.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Plant-Based on Fire, where we talk about plant-based businesses and their inspiring stories to thrive in the industry. We're taking a completely different twist, and I just had to get this guest on the show here with us because it is a very unique industry that you're in, and I think one that not only offends us plant-basers but also offends even the meat eaters to a little bit. So welcome, Molly, to the show. Tell us more about Elwood's dog meat.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. We definitely press buttons for both plant eaters and meat eaters alike. We are a local organic dog meat farm. We've been running since 1981. We are family owned, second generation, and we are offering people an ethical alternative to factory farmed meat, which is meat made from dogs for people.
Yeah. And so it's organic.
It is organic. Mm-hmm.
But I don't think many of our listeners have tried dog meat.
No.
Can you tell us more about the flavor profiles there?
Yeah. So we offer Labradors and Corgis as well as a bunch of other breeds. They are very similar in flavor to beef, pork, chicken. It just depends on which breed and how you prepare them. You know, you use a lot of herbs and spices the same way you cook any other meat. And it is better for the planet because they do have a smaller carbon footprint and they are more heart healthy. They're lower in cholesterol. So
Wow.
It is a great alternative for people who are not ready to go vegan.
Yeah. And I'd have to say, where do we go from there, really? I mean, you've said it all. So check out Elwood's dog meat and learn more about the amazing dog meat farm you have.
ElwoodDogmeat.com.
Perfect. And so with that, I think we can let the ruse go on that front.
Yeah.
Tell us the real truth behind this here.
Elwood Dog Meat is a activism website. It's made to help people address their cognitive dissonance about the animals they put on their plate versus the animals that sleep on their beds. It's not real. It is just a website and social media, and I've been running it for 2 years now.
Wow. So not founded since 1981.
No, not at all. No, not even second generation, and there are no dogs.
Yeah. Well, I'm very relieved to hear that, but I guess two quick things. I do like to point out to my meat eater friends that they have to take some of the best vegetables to season their meat and make it taste better. So I like you pointing that out. I almost want to take a little twist down that road and say, well, you got to make the plants on the animal to make it taste better.
Yeah, I know. I always love saying that. I really like, I don't share a lot of recipes just because I feel it's too... I don't know, it strays too much from the point. But at the same time, whenever I do it, I always choose recipes that have a lot of good herb profiles. So you can be like, it tastes like garlic. It tastes like rosemary.
Yeah, some of the best. And then I was going to go down a little rabbit hole there with you and sort of say the smaller the dog, the more it tastes like chicken, maybe.
Yeah. That's why I chose Chihuahuas as chicken. And I tried to match what... you might suspect, and it's really interesting to when the social account is stock pictures of meat next to stock pictures of dogs and trying to be like, I think this one would be a white meat. I don't know why. And it gets kind of gross, but pass the time.
Well, congrats on your successful thing. Like, I do think Real Men Eat Plants and what we're doing with our little podcast network is slightly polarizing, just putting it out there. Real men eat plants.
Right.
But you have taken it to like the highest extreme that I could think of here. So What led you? What was your personal journey to take you on this journey and say, "Hey, I've got to create this website"?
You know, it's funny. I often tell the story about how it was that I wanted to make a vegan bumper sticker that would help people think about veganism in a different way. And I didn't see a bumper sticker that I liked, and so I just decided to make my own. And my husband and I thought that Elwood dog meat was really funny to make it look like we were selling it. And Elwood's our last name. But really what's funny is I do think what kickstart, I sat on this idea for like a year and I didn't do anything with it. But what really kickstarted it was, I think it was 4th of July, and I was traveling and I was in a hotel, and it was like the Drew Barrymore show was on. And they just did a hot dog tasting contest, a hot dog, like, can you tell which one
July,
is whatever, 4th of July hot dogs. And then they had a dog on dressed in 4th of July outfit. And it was like, it's Rover's 4th of July outfit. And here's what he's wearing. And I was so livid. I was like, to do this back to back with the hot dogs, I was like, that's it. When I got home from that trip, I built the website. I was just, it's driven by anger.
Yeah. I mean, and each of us have our own little story on that front. Like me, I walked out of Forks Over Knives and said, I've got to change my health, right? And I bought the domain name, and I've been down the health path so long now, and then I went down the environmental path, and I'm slowly coming around to the animal side. Like, I don't want to see the animals getting harmed, but it's been always my third choice on that front. But one of those three messages brings people into this lifestyle, I think. So congrats, and I really appreciate you building the site and pushing it out there. The few friends I've shown it to have been in abject horror when they look at it. And so I'm just like, well, I don't understand why. I mean, we're looking at the brown cows versus the black Angus and all that kind of stuff. We talk about their qualities, so why shouldn't it apply to any animal on the planet, really, right? So so how do you feel like, Elwood's Dog Meat is contributing to that plant-based movement and encouraging people to come towards the veganism lifestyle?
Yeah, so I have this thought, and I'm sure that everybody whichever way brought you to veganism is probably the thing that you think that's the thing that'll make it stick. And for me, because I came in through the animal pathway, when I went vegan, I thought that I was just going to die. I was like, well, I hadn't looked into any of the health aspects. And I was just like, well, I guess I'm just going to just waste away, but I can't contribute to this. And basically I thought it wouldn't stick, and I wouldn't be vegan for very long. But when I saw the health benefits, I was like, oh my God, what a boon, what a benefit on top of all of that. Yeah. But so for me, because it is the animal aspect, the people that I am catching in this ruse that end up messaging me and saying they're going to go vegan, or they're going to reduce the animals that they're eating, are animal lovers, and there are people who have their dog, right next to them when they read the website, and it really makes that connection for them. And so I think that for me, I think that people coming in through the animal aspect who have that as their kind of reason for being animal people, or animal people, no matter what. I think that they'll stick with it longer, because it is the ethical arguments I find are the only ones that are, you can see them. You see an animal suffer, and you see that you don't have to eat it, and the answer's clear. Whereas I think things get muddier when it comes to health, because I think that, don't hate me, I think that you could probably live a healthy life and eat some animal products. I don't think that I don't think that is arguable, and I think the environmental aspects, obviously on a massive scale, are huge, but I don't think that people care about it enough. I mean, I care about it a lot, but if I go somewhere and they still hand me a styrofoam cup, I will. So so I think that the animal stuff is inarguable, and I think that the people that are coming to veganism through Elwood Dog Meat are people who are going to maybe even become activists because they felt that emotion too.
No, I mean, I think that's a key message. Like, it's that moderation path to a degree. Even if I can't get you to give up the meat, can you just do it once a month? I mean, that would be a huge change on this planet. And I think most people don't realize a good portion of this earth is vegetarian, at least, on that front, because there isn't enough meat produced to feed everybody right now. But
we can have dog-free Mondays.
Exactly, exactly. So I have to say, again, congrats. Like, as a person who's building up his podcast and his social media accounts and just getting started to a degree, you have a massive number of impressions and followers and stuff. What do you think is the secret to that? I mean, is it just the pure outrageousness of it, or?
I mean, yeah, I think it is. I think that there's a lot of things at play. There's the humorous aspect that you can't deny. It's funny. I have a lot of meat eaters who share my content just because, especially because they think it makes vegans look funny and ridiculous. And I'm really willing to be the butt of their jokes because they then share it with their friends who then go through the experience.
Yeah.
So being shareable by a large group of people, I think, is helpful. So that would mean, if even, stepping away from talking about dog meat, is it needs to reach a wide audience. You can't just preach to vegans and you can't just preach to meat eaters.
Yeah.
Then there's the shock value. People see my stuff and they need to share it. They can't even think about it. They're just so upset that they share it without even going down the hole. And then dogs. People love dogs. They love dog stuff. Anything like dog related. Cat related would be too. So I think that we love sharing animal videos and things like that. And I think that, you see sanctuaries can do a lot of good by sharing really great animal content. So I think that there's a way, I'm sure that that can be done with the health content too, is like, how do you reach people? But also, but here's the thing is you already are trying to do kind of a bit of a trolley thing. And so stuff then goes viral because it's aggressive, so it's finding your voice and being like, what are you willing to do and what are you willing to stick to? So if you want to be a troll, go full troll.
That's right. Yeah. Well, again, like, just very, very impressive on the way you're growing and launching it. How how do you measure that success of the project? I mean, obviously the humor angle alone is just what was driving that wholeheartedly. I wish we could find more humorous content about this. So the troll angle, I love all that, but how are you, even if 1 out of 10 people that share it, like, seriously consider it or look into it, like, you're having a huge impact on it. So how are you measuring that success?
I'm measuring it by impressions and visits to the website specifically, because I think that, like, it's one thing to share something on social media, but if they're not clicking on the link and they're not visiting the website and actually going through that journey, they're missing it. The website is full of I have FAQs, which is I've taken from Ed Winter's arguments arguments for veganism, so people can go and explore that. There is a resources page that has all the things about it, like why you go vegan: for the planet, for your health, for the animals, for the people. And so I'm measuring people going to see those things as well. And so I have had 3 million individual users visit the website since July 2021. And I think that that's huge, especially because this started off as me just being one person. This was what I did in my free time outside of, and I'd go to work, and then at night and during my lunch break, I would do this. So for me, as one person, to have reached 3 million people is much better than when I was just like, thank you. It's much better than when I was just, I had a little box in front of my house. I lived across from Trader Joe's, and I had I got one of those realtor boxes, and I painted it, and I said vegan stuff, and I put things in there, and I'd be like, somebody took a brochure. So this is great.
Yeah. Hey, we all have to find our path to change the world. So so I am curious, because I have a lot of cat lovers in my friends network. When is the cat website coming out?
So what's funny is there are 2 different cat meat, like, homage pages people have made on Facebook and websites. Happy Cat Paws Farm. I don't know. If you just look up cat meat, you'll find
It'll pop it.
I was going, like, when I started off, I was like, I'm going to do cats, but I thought cats were too funny and it was too obvious, and I don't think that cat lovers would believe it, whereas dog lovers are just
devote for sure.
Yes.
And so I am sure you've had backlash and challenges from organizations and stuff. How do you approach that? I just saw a video this morning of a gentleman along the side of the street, just showing the animal farming videos, and the police came up to him and said, "You can't be showing this here." And it's like, why? What rules am I violating here? So I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah, I've had, in addition to like, I like to share on my social media accounts. I love to share I have a phone number so people can call and leave me death threats and stuff. And I get messages and emails and stuff. But, it's interesting from it's kind of like the meta story that is harder to tell from Elwood's, which is me trying to get Elwood's ads places or trying to do things and working with businesses, and I write them. And even I had a print shop refuse to print my signs for Vegandale because first off, he thought it was real. And then when I told him it wasn't real, he said, "Well, how do I know you're not just telling me it's not real in order to make me print the signs?" And I was like, "Look at the website." And actually, I just remembered now. I recorded this conversation, and I then had vegan outreach with the owner of a print shop as he discussed all the reasons why he's not vegan. So whenever I have any interactions with any business, I always turn this into a conversation about veganism. It's a chance for activism. And I'm going to this week publish... So in June, I had an ad on the London Underground, and the London Underground refused to run the ad. They turned it down 4 times.
Wow.
And the fourth time or something, I sent them kind of like a Jerry Maguire email being like, you advertise things all the time that don't really make a difference. Your job is, I work in advertising. I know when you get the chance to do something that could make a difference, don't you want to jump on it? And this could really reach and change the lives of millions, billions of animals and people. And, why not? And they changed their mind. And so it's like, I find it's very interesting. Anytime someone pushes back, that is like it's like a notification of vegan thinking. The stigma of it.
Stigma and the cultural biases that we're preconceived with, right? You and I know there are plenty of places outside of America that eat horse on a regular basis. Right. But if we were to try and publish a horse ad, it wouldn't go anywhere, right?
And it was interesting because they said the words that the London Underground said were, they said that this would be distressing to many people. And I said, is it not distressing to see? As I'm showing the same pictures of meat, it is just beef. I'm just showing you beef. And if the idea of it not being beef distresses you, that's actually why what they agreed to was I had to put a big disclaimer at the bottom that I wasn't allowed to run the ad as though I wanted to, which was just selling dog meat, make you go to the website. It had to say at the bottom, I had the line of, if this fake ad for a fake farm upsets you, maybe you're vegan.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
So I'm just so curious, have you tried to run a Google ad or any digital ads?
So
I'm sure you've gotten blocked from that too.
Yeah, I try not to do digital ads because I'm so nervous about getting my website. I am a copywriter. I'm very much just venturing into the business aspect of this, and because I've had things taken down before, like I'm not willing to try a Facebook ad and risk my 75,000 followers for just doing this. Because
I had 12,000 on Real Many Plants, and I pushed the envelope and got it banned. So,
oh God, yeah. My Instagram account got banned last month, and I lost 15,000 followers, and now I have 1,200, and that's very sad. So what I do instead is I've done some billboards. I did a mobile billboard in Vegas last year, which was really fun, and it was really hard to find somebody who would be willing to run that. And I found an independent guy who was just like, "I'll take your money, whatever." But his caveat was, during the daytime he drove around with my Elwood ad, but at night he was sharing the ad with other people, and he's like, these other advertisers are not wanting to be, next to your dog meat ad. And I said, so what if I made a Stop Elwood's dog meat ad? And so at night I ran this anti-dog meat ad that went to Elwood dog meat anyway. So they still went to it. And he was willing to do that. And then I've had some volunteers donate money to run billboards on there's digital billboards, so that way there's a lot less oversight. I don't know if anyone ever saw it, and so it ran in Florida and in Buffalo.
Wow. I would have to say the idea that's popping in my head is you really should partner with all the veg fests across the country. Like I'm planning on going to the one here in Charlotte and just get a nice ad right outside, right outside every veg fest with the nice billboard advertising it. And
I would love
so
to do
many
that.
meat eaters go to the veg fest just to check it out. And
I would love that. Well, so it is hard since I am one person. And so this year I committed to Vegan Dale, which is a vegan festival that is in a lot of different cities. And it is amazing because, it's like 25% of the people are vegan and all the rest are vegetarian, or not meat eaters or vegetarians.
Yeah.
And they come to my booth with their dogs, and my booth looks like I'm selling dog meat, and it says free samples. And people come up to it thinking that I'm selling samples for like of dog food. So they'll show up with their dog, or they'll get it and they'll be like, "What is this?" Because it's just it's so hokey and real looking. I made a bunch of like low-key banners and things, so the conversations are amazing in person, like, and we just play it straight and pretend like we're selling dog meat. And activists can now do this. I have all this stuff on my website, so you can download the banners and the brochures and stuff, and activists have been doing these outreach things that are just they're really good at videotaping them, so if you look up any dog meat tastings, those are great.
I'll definitely have to check that out for sure. I know we are trying to keep this podcast a little bit shorter on the format wise. I feel like we've only grazed the surface of where Elwood Dog Meat is heading and stuff. But tell us a little bit more of how can people find out more, support you in your efforts, and help you grow this outrageous empire that you're building here.
I was just going to pull up my... so you can find me on elwooddogmeat.com, and Facebook is Elwood Dog Meat, Twitter, Elwood Dog Meat. Instagram now is, what is my new Instagram account? My new Instagram account is Elwood Dog Meats, unfortunately. And you can support me on Patreon with it, which is Elwood Farms. I'm using that money again for advertising to try and, pay for web stuff and things like that, so we can keep going and building and reach more activists specifically going forward, is helping them use this in their campaigns. But and also I do have farm merch if you're interested. I have t-shirts and stickers and stuff like that on the website.
Awesome. And so would love to have you back on in 6 months or a year from now and check in with you again and see where things are at and growing. And we've got some other podcasts that I think you'll be on as well here.
I would love
as
that.
Part of our
Thank
network.
you.
So congratulations. And I really love it. I think out of all the websites that I steer people towards, if they're open to it, I'll buy them the cookbook or whatever. But when they're not open to it, I start with your website and just sort of say, hey, well, go watch this and let's talk about the ethical sides of it.
Thank you.
So we'll try and get your Instagram followers back up to where they should be.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks very much for having me. This is great.
Well, that is all the time we have for this episode of Plant-Based on Fire. Thank you so much, Molly Elwood, for joining us and sharing your insights and experiences with our community. Until next time, let's keep those fires burning.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Plant-Based on Fire. We hope you enjoyed learning about the innovative plant-based businesses we featured today and got inspired to support them on their journey. Remember, plant-based eating isn't just a trend. It's a way of life that benefits your health, the environment, and animals. By choosing plant-based foods, you're making a positive impact on the world and helping to create a better and more compassionate future. If you want to join the Real Men Eat Plants community and get even more resources to help you go and stay plant-based, check out our blog, podcasts, and 30-day challenge at realmeneatplants.com. Thank you for tuning in to Plant-Based on Fire, brought to you by Real Men Eat Plants. Head over to Apple Podcast and give us a review, and let us know what you think of this episode. Don't forget to tag us at Plant-Based on Fire when you share this episode in your preferred social media. Wish to be a guest? We need to know about your plant-based business. Email us at pbof@realmeneatplants.com. We love hearing from our listeners. Thank you to our guests and to you, our listeners, for your support, and see you next time.